Hey everybody, it's Moshe Fried. Welcome to another live video. If you're watching it live, if you're watching this on YouTube or LinkedIn or even on Facebook, it might not be live anymore. It's only live right now. So if you get that live button flashing, then this is a live video. If not, then you're watching the rerun, the replay. So welcome. It's been a while since I've been able to do a Facebook Live. Been busy trying to get the pilot program up and running, trying to wrap up a couple of things. And I will give you an update on that a little bit later. But today I want to talk about giving teachers feedback. It's really, really, really important for teachers to have feedback. Like anybody, like anything, if you don't have feedback to know what you're doing, virtual background malfunction, if you don't have the feedback to know that what you're doing, that it's whether it's working or not, it's just not, you're not going to be able to make the improvements that you need. So what we're focusing here with ClasStars is, and I had done a podcast on this recently. Bill Gates did a TED Talk in 2013, and he spoke about giving teachers feedback. And the suggestion that he had was that teachers should set up a video camera in their classroom that they can actually observe themselves. The reason is because you want the teacher to feel safe getting the feedback. You don't want another person. Teachers feel very self-conscious. I mean, how many teachers have I spoken to over the years who have told me that the minute anybody's coming in to observe their classroom, whether it's an admin or a social worker or a psychologist or any observer, you know, it changes the atmosphere in the room right away. So anytime you have an outside person coming in, there's always that fear of being judged, that judgmentalism, and you need a lot of confidence as a teacher to be able to completely ignore that and continue to teach the regular way. So because of that and other reasons, Bill Gates suggests that people ought to film parts of their classroom and watch it on their own or even watch it with a supervisor, but they get to pick which videos they want to show, and this way they can show their best stuff and get constructive criticism around their best stuff. And all of that is fine. If you want to do that, that's fine, but it's also extremely time consuming, extremely tedious and difficult. And I don't know about you, but I personally do not like watching videos of myself. Even this video that I'm doing right now, I have a hard time watching it because it's just me, and it's hard for me to watch me. So when we developed ClasStars, the idea here of ClasStars was not only to help teachers keep records of things so that they can keep track of how the students are doing, but it was also intended to inform the teacher how to respond back to the kids. So that's why we have the dashboards and the charts, the border colors. It tells you which kids need your encouragement, which kids need positive feedback. How do you respond to this student? How do you respond to that student? So let's jump in here, and I'm going to share with you what we call the details dashboard for teachers. And that is a dashboard that is not oriented around a specific student. Okay. We've gone over, we've gone through all the functionality in the classroom, swiping up for positive feedback, swiping down for recording misbehaviors, swiping to the right for real-time attendance, swiping to the left for academic engagement. We've done all of that. You've got the quick quiz mode. Well, you know all the functionality from previous videos of how ClasStars works. And then you know the basic dashboards. This is the snapshot dashboard. We have the behaviors dashboard, which gives you the list of the positives and the negatives. With the bar charts, you have the attendance charts. That's the pie chart. The homework chart works the same way, although I don't think we have sample data, demo data for the homework class. So you don't get that, but it's the same pie charts. But here we have the details dashboard. Now let's dive into the details dashboard. It's really the teacher feedback dashboard. The purpose of the details dashboard is to give the teacher, and this is your own private dashboard that you can look at to see how are you doing as a teacher, okay? And we're gonna go through this. We're gonna go through the different aspects of the details dashboard. This is for a particular class. So we're looking at the class details for the demo class. That's what we're doing here. And of course, you know that we're in ClasStars, and you've got your little back arrow. Because this is a Windows machine, you have the back arrow here. This is the Windows back arrow. In iOS, you have the iOS back arrow, and in Android, you have the Android back arrow. But we give you our own back arrow, so you can always hit this button and go back. But there are a couple of different parts to the details dashboard. Across the top, you have the timeline, just like we have in the individual dashboards for behavior, attendance, and homework. And you can move this slider to include more or less time. Here we have from November 1 to November 11th, but I can also slide the entire thing over and see the exact same date range across, move the date range over, but it's the same time frame. So you're looking at the same couple of weeks, but just these 2 weeks, and you can slide them back and forth. Okay, and obviously you can go all the way back to the beginning, go all the way to the end, anywhere in the middle, you slide around your date range. Let's slide it over to, let's slide it here. Okay, now, here you have a list of sessions. This is a session that happened Monday, November 9th, Friday, November 6th, Thursday, November 5th, Wednesday, November 4th, every single event. Now, it's dated and it has the beginning and end time of that session. Now, again, we're looking at the demo class specifically. So if you had multiple classes, you'd be looking at one class at a time. So this is a teacher being able to look at their own class, a specific period that they're looking at. Okay, now in these tiles, you have here, like I said before, the date and time. This is actually the title, which you can edit by sliding this over. Okay, now again, everything is meant to be with your finger, but if you hit the edit button, now I can edit the session name. Remember when we started a session, we said you can title the session name. I can go here and say Facebook Live Demo. Okay, teacher feedback. And then I tap accept. And now this class is renamed Demo, Facebook Demo Live Teacher Feedback. That's what it's renamed, the Monday, November 9th session. Okay, so you could do that there. If you would have put in a session title at the time that you started the class, you would see this here right away. So this is every single class. They're numbered from the beginning of the semester. And this little icon means that there are events recorded in that session. If I actually have a session and I don't record anything throughout the entire lesson, let's say I started a class, took attendance, and did nothing else, closed the class, then this will be empty. And you can look at all sessions or with events. Obviously, the sessions with events are the important ones, but if you don't, have it every single one, then you could do all sessions also, but again, there's not going to be anything there. So let's look at with events. That's what we're looking at here. Now, this yellow check means that it is from the selected date range. So we're looking at events from in these classes. These other classes that don't have this yellow check, if I scroll up over here, okay, Conversation with Jessica Lane, that's a podcast that's going to be coming out next week. So shout out to Jessica Lane for joining me on the podcast. And we're not looking at data from these classes. We're only looking at data from classes that have checks. Now you can also delete a class by sliding it the other way. Okay, by sliding it to the right, you can delete a class. So if you actually are playing around with ClasStars and you start a class and you're not actually recording data of kids, this is the way to delete all the class and all of the data in the class. Okay, that's column number 1. Now at the bottom here, it says 6 of 31 sessions are collected. So there are 31 sessions altogether. We're looking at these 6, right? If you scroll all the way to the top, 31, that's there, right? In fact, we could take this, let's delete this session because the data is out of the, you do that, slide it to the left, delete the class. Now we want to make sure that you're not doing this accidentally. So we ask you to confirm it 3 times. And now I can delete the session. And now that session is gone. So now I'm down to 30. I'm looking at 6 of the 30. In the second column, in the middle column over here, I have every single event that was recorded with the name of the student, the icon for the event, the name of the event, the date and the time and the rating. And if I scroll down here, I can see here there's a couple of, this one was rated. And I can go down here and see every single event. I can also add notes to these events by tapping here on the little note button. And then I can add a note to the event. And then when I hit the little floppy drive, I get the little note right over here. Now there are 3 filter buttons. I can filter the events by tapping on this, and we have a similar kind of filter button on in the individual dashboard for the kids. Again, every single event, I can block out all the positive ones, all the negative ones, all the academic events. I can pick specific ones that I want to see. So I go through this and pick which events I want to see, which events I don't want to see in this list. Okay, and then that will filter out over here, and I'll only see those events. If I tap on this middle one, this is the attendance event. I can filter out specific attendance events to see or not see. Do the same thing with that. And here I can filter out by student. So if I want to look only at events of specific students in the class. I tap on this button. Here is a list of all my students, okay? Now you'll notice that every student has a different border color around them. And that is, you're gonna see what that means in the next column when we go through that. In this column, I have 3 donut charts. Okay, the top one is behaviors, and this is just like the behavior donut chart in the individual dashboard. This is a breakdown, but this is of all the students. This is not just for a particular student. This is my interactions with the class over this date range that we're looking at. And the shades of green represent the different swipe ups, the different, positive feedbacks. The shades of red represent the different negative feedbacks, the swipe downs. The shades of yellow represent the different academic events, and orange is incorrect academic. And if I tap on that donut, then I get the legend where I can see exactly the title, the name of each kind of event. I can see what are the most dominant events that I am recording in this class across all of the students. Advanced competency is pretty high up there, 41. And if I tap on that, you'll see it pop out here in the pie chart. So if if it's something smaller, let's say we're talking about in the reds here, and I see that there's a button and I tap on distracted, I want to see, there you go, that's the distracted slice of the pie. So I can go there. If it's too long, I can scroll down on it, and that's what I could see how I'm working with the entire class. The same thing with attendance, all the different attendance events that are recorded. If I tap on the donut chart, then I get the legend of all of the attendance events that are recorded. And this shows me every single attendance event that is recorded across these dates that I'm looking at, October 30th through November 8th. That's what we're looking at here. What's going on? Again, if I filter out certain attendance events, they would be removed from the donut chart. And the same thing with the behaviors. If I take out certain events, they're going to be taken out of this chart. Now here is a really, really important donut, because this donut shows me how I am engaging, the breakdown of engagement by student, behavior by student. And if I tap on the donut, I can see a list of every student's name and the number of engagements that I've had. And this includes all of the engagements. This includes the swipe ups, the swipe down, swipe to the right, swipe to the left, everything. Okay, I'm sorry, not swipe to the right. That will be attendance. But this is all of the behaviors. So you're talking about swiping up, down, and to the left. Positive, negative, and academic. Now, if I filter out a certain student, that student would be removed. If I take only certain students, only those students would be there, and the pie charts would adjust accordingly. If I hit the middle of this, I can switch, well, sorry about that. If I hit the little icon here, the behavior icon, it's actually going to switch to attendance by students. So I can look at this and see which students are getting the most attendance engagement. What does that mean? Let's tap on it. And I can see right away that Elijah Patton has 7 and Bonnie Phelps has 7 attendance events, right? So what I might want to do once I see this is, hey, they're getting a lot of attendance events. So let's take out Elijah and Bonnie. We're going to hit on the, I'm sorry, that was the wrong one. I'm going to hit on the student filter. Okay, we know that Elijah and Bonnie are getting the most attendance stuff. So we're going to block out everybody and we're going to pick out only Elijah. We're going to want to show him, Elijah, and we're going to want to show Bonnie as well, Bonnie Phelps. Okay, let's take these 2 students. Okay, we hit done, and now we're filtering out all the other kids, right? So you see attendance by student, there's only 2 students, only Elijah and Bonnie, and we can see how they're doing. We can see that Elijah's gotten excused from school, a 5-minute break, a restroom break. Bonnie's gotten disciplinary. Elijah's gotten a restroom break. Bonnie's been distracted. Bonnie's gone out for medical attention for 3 minutes. Elijah's gotten some self-control. So I can see that I can drill down. I can look more specifically at their events. I can find things that I want, and I can see how the behaviors break down to only these specific students. So this is a feedback tool for teachers that teachers can use privately. They don't need to discuss this with anybody. They don't need to show this to anybody, but they can check and see which are the kids that are dominating their attention. What are the events that are dominating their class, their time? What is their ratio? How does their interaction with kids break down positive to negative? The shades of green and yellow are obviously the positive ones, academic behavior and academic respectively, and red and orange are the negative ones, behavior and academic respectively. This gives teachers very, very rich feedback on how they're interacting with their classrooms. And it's completely non-judgmental. It's completely private, your own feedback that you can use. And it's something that I think will help teachers, not just what I think, what obviously working with the teachers that we've been working with, will give teachers a lot of insight into their own behaviors that kind of become second nature and you don't really think about. So this is the ClasStars way of doing it. And if you like it, download the app and get to it, start using it right away. An update on the pilot program. So there are a couple of things that we still need to work out for the pilot program. One thing that we just completed is our subscription features. And let me jump right back into the demo here. Let me show you what we've done here with the subscription, because when you download ClasStars, you can download it for free. And we didn't want to give you only some of the functionality in ClasStars for free. We wanted to give you all of the functionality in ClasStars for free. But we do have to pay our bills. So what we're doing is when you download ClasStars, you get the automatic demo class. Plus, you can set up one class. You hit the Set Up My Classes button, and you can add a class for free, okay? Now, I happen to have the most expensive version of ClasStars, but if you tap on, and you can do this at any time, we have this little meter, this little subscription meter here, okay? And this is green because we're at a good place with our subscription. If you tap on that, then you'll see that we have 3 options of subscriptions. We have the bronze version, the silver version, and the gold version. The bronze version is absolutely free, okay? You can have 1 class. You can have 50 students per class, a total of 75 individual students. Now, you might ask, why do I need to have more students than I have in the class? Because maybe you had a student in your class and the student left. So you still have the student in the system. We put the limitation, you know, and really these are numbers that we figured you'll never even get to, because nobody should have 50 kids in their class. That's ridiculous. Now, the silver version, now again, it's free. And the students vary students in class. The students don't vary in classes because it's only 1 class anyway. The silver version allows you 5 max classes. Okay, so you can set up 5 different classes. Again, 50 students per class, same number. But you cannot vary the students in the class. So what that means is that all the kids that you're going to have are going to be the same across all 5 classes. So this is good if you are a homeroom teacher and you're teaching multiple subjects. Then you can divide it up by subject. And the benefit there, if you remember, when you're swiping up and you're recording positive feedback, we have the green, which is for the swipe up, and the yellow, which is the academic engagement. If you have multiple classes, there is another benefit, and that is that when you go from one subject to the next, whatever positive feedback, let's say you're going from math to science, whatever positive feedback you gave during math, when you go to science, turns blue. Okay, so what happens is you can now distinguish between students that have gotten positive feedback from you in the last 2 days and subject specific. Why do we do it this way? The reason why we do it this way, and you're probably thinking about this yourselves, the reason why we do it this way is because sometimes kids are strong in certain subjects and they will engage a lot during those subjects. In other subjects, they're going to be weaker and they're going to withdraw. So you might remember that you engaged the student in the last 2 days because you have, but what you don't realize is that you haven't engaged the student in math all week. All of the engagement has been in other subjects. So that student may have a very high meter, but when you're in math, that meter will be blue. So you know you haven't given the student any engagement in this subject. So it's important to engage students every day, obviously, but what's also important is to engage students regularly in every subject. And if a student is not doing well in a particular subject, it might be because they're not being engaged enough. The silver version of ClasStars allows you to do that. And because of this benefit, because we give you more specific details, you get more dashboards, you get everything more subject specific. So there's a subscription for it, and you can go by month or you can sign up for the entire year. So if you go by month, it's $2.99 a month. And if you sign up for the entire year, you get a discount. It's $23.99. So you would tap on this and you would hit there and then follow the prompts. We work straight with the app stores. So the app store will take care of the billing and all of that. Then we have the gold version. The gold version also gives you 5 classes with the same 50 per student, except that you can have up to 300 students because the students can vary in classes. So that means if you're a departmental teacher and you're teaching, let's say, math in the 6th grade and in the 7th grade, or you have a couple of different classes, here is where you can assign different students to different classes. So it gives you much more versatility. You can cover many, many more kids. And the subscription pricing for that is $9.99 per month or $59.99 for the year. So you would hit on this bar and then hit accept renewal. And obviously this is where I am. So that's why it's green. And then green means that you've got plenty of time. As you get close to the end of your subscription, we will remind you by making this meter turn yellow and then red. And we give you some grace period. If you're over the subscription, then you can still continue to use it before you run out, and we give you some time to catch up. So that is one thing that we have been working on in order to get the pilot program up and running, because we wanted to give people opportunities to upgrade their ClasStars subscription to either the silver or the gold version. The other thing that we're doing is we want to be really, really prepared in this with the training. So I'm going to be doing the training. We're going to be having videos just like this, training teachers, every single aspect of ClasStars. But we wanted to make it really, really succinct and really, really tight, because you're going to come in and across 2 weeks, you're going to learn how to use ClasStars first outside of class using the demo class as I've been using. And then you're going to slowly start adding your class and your students into the class. You're going to start with one class, one at a time, one step at a time. We're going to start using it first in the most minimal, efficient way, single swipe up and down. We're going to work you through the process. And we're going to be teaching you more functionality in the demo class. And then as you're comfortable with using it outside of class, you're going to start bringing it into class. So we've been working on setting up the training in a very, very succinct and tight way so that it's as seamless and simple as possible. So as soon as we're finished with all of these materials, we're going to make an announcement that we're going to be starting. We're going to take on teachers in this group, in the Teaching with Positivity group. That's where all of the action is going to be. So if you're not a member of the Teaching with Positivity group, I would recommend that you sign up. You'll get a link to download ClasStars for free to your tablet device, whether it's an iPad, Android, or Windows tablet device, and you'll be off to the races. So it's great talking with you again, as always, and looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Hopefully we'll get to be able to do a couple of videos a week again real soon. Just working on the pilot program, getting it together. So thanks again for spending some time with us. Hope you got value out of this. Share it with your friends. Check out the podcast. And most of all, download ClasStars and start keeping track of all the kids in your class. Take care. All the best.